Good evening to all our viewers. Thanks a lot for staying with us. In a move that will have massive ripples, United States President Joe Biden has arrived in Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. This is Joe Biden's surprise visit to underscore American support for President Zelensky and his efforts against Russia. Now, this also comes just days before the first anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The trip marks the first time President Joe Biden has traveled to Ukraine as president. It may also be noted that Joe Biden has announced a new military package for Ukraine worth $500 million. The package will include more military equipment, including artillery ammunition, more javelins and howitzers as well. We'll connect with our colleagues in just a bit. CNN News 18, Sanjay Suri, in fact, is in Ukraine. He will be joining us shortly from Kyiv. Our colleague Abhishek Jha is also tracking all these developments very, very closely. As we said, this unscheduled surprise visit is going to have a lot of global ramifications and ripples as well. Look at the tweet that has been put out by President Joe Biden. It says, and I'm quoting, "As we approach the anniversary of Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine, I am in Kyiv today to meet with President Zelensky and reaffirm our unwavering commitment to Ukraine's democracy, sovereignty and territorial integrity." The messaging that is being sent out by the United States in their support to Ukraine is going to be very crucial. President Biden in his tweet further goes on to say, when Putin launched his invasion nearly 1 year ago, he thought Ukraine was weak and the West was divided.
What can I say? I really appreciate that President Biden, American society, being from the very beginning of this tragedy, from the very beginning of this full-scale war, from the first days being together with us. First phone call of support was from White House to Ukraine. And thank you for your leadership. Thanks bipartisan support. Thanks Congress. I think that is a historical moment for our country and very important. Today we'll speak in detail about the situation on the battlefield. But I think almost we'll speak about people, about Ukrainians, about Americans. I think that is huge and so difficult period for societies, and what we have to do to stop the war, to have success in this war, to make Ukraine more stronger, and how to win this year. You're very welcome, Mr. President. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me. Presumptuous of me to say this, but I thought it was important that the President of the United States be here the day the attack began. Because as the President remember, I was warning the world that he was going to attack. I was certain of it. And I thought it was critical that there would not be any doubt, none whatsoever, about U.S. support for Ukraine in their war against the brutal attack by Russia. You know, it's good to be back in Kyiv. I was telling the President, one of my newer staff members on the flight from Washington into Poland asked me how many times I'd been to Kyiv. And I had to stop and think, it's my 8th trip. And much has changed. Much of it bad with the invasion, but also the Ukrainian people have stepped up in a way that few people ever have in their defense, and have apparently also embraced the notions of democracy. No longer discussions about whether or not certain privileged people have control. And and I bring greetings and goodwill from a member of Congress, who had a very good impression, as you know, when you spoke there last. And for all the disagreement we have in our Congress on some issues, there is significant agreement on support for Ukraine. Because this is so much larger than just Ukraine. It's about freedom and democracy in Europe. It's about freedom and democracy writ large. And all the American people, I know that so many have been kept the Ukrainian people, particularly women and children, in their prayers, seeing what's happening. They can't fathom the idea of the shelling at night, and the shelling of everything from orphanages to schools to the like. It's barbaric. And I'm here to show our unwavering support for the nation's independence, their sovereignty, and territorial integrity. And today, I hope we're going to have a chance to discuss how the United States and our allies, by keeping constant contact with, and our partners, can most effectively support you and your cause, Mr. President. And I look forward to discussing all of this and then addressing the world with you afterwards. But again, the admiration for the people of Ukraine, ordinary, hard-working citizens who were never trained to be military. The way they stepped up is just, it's beyond heroic. And the whole world is looking, the whole world.
Thank you very much.
We're walking out. Press, we're walking out.
Well, there we heard from both the leaders for the first time ever since you had US President Joe Biden there landing in Ukraine. President Zelensky, they're thanking President Joe Biden for the United States' unwavering support. But what was crucial to note were the words that we heard from President Joe Biden, who said this is not just a gesture that the United States is extending towards Ukraine, but all of this boils down to the freedom of democracy. Let's listen in to